Welcome along, everybody. It is time for the Japanese Grand Prix here in Suzuka. It is Division 1 for SFR, and this is round 11 for the Japanese Grand Prix. My name is Jamie Morris, and alongside me tonight is the retired former Div 2 driver. The champion of Div 2 is Owen Manso, and I believe I'm not the only one who's calling him either, because I think somebody in the background has just said his name.
Sorry about that. Yeah, hello. Yeah, it's not good to be back. Obviously, I've had not really a week off, but a week off from Div 2. Div 2, it's not Div 2. A week off from Div 1. Obviously, I was with Div 2 with you, Jamie, last week in Brazil. But yeah, no, it's good. It's nice to be back in Division 1. I've seen that we have a new championship leader of Kaname. Lasers dropped out of the P3, and surprisingly there. But again, everyone outside, I think it's the top 4, hasn't actually won a race. Yeah, it's quite surprising to be fair.
That was the first fact I was going to bring up. I was going to say that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that the top 4 in the championship haven't won a race this season, and you took it away from me. I was just building up for that.
Whoops, sorry, mate.
It's all good. At least someone said it though.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, like I said, I think it was Oscar by the looks of it. That one last week. Obviously, like you'll know more than me, Jamie. But I still would love to see them 3 drivers to be full time in Division 1. By that I mean Bolokongan, Oscar, and Hazara. They're the main 3 that they've basically been winning these Grand Prix this season, and obviously none of them are actually here tonight. Not that I can see anyway. There's still a space still available though. I'm not sure if one of them is going to be late or what, but I'm sure we'll find out towards the end of qualifying and see what happens. But yeah, Japan is more a circuit is quite difficult to overtake. I mean, you have that one DRS straight down the start-finish straight, but you're main opportunity for an overtake will probably be going up towards where Robin is at the moment at 130R, and obviously on the chicane as well. So that's probably going to be your best option for overtaking here. Obviously DRS is powerful on this game, so we'll see some overtaking down towards turn 1. Probably best option probably be around the outside, being the top first one, well, corner 1 and 2 being quite high speed, and probably your best opportunity to get the overtake done. But I think Nico is the first one on the lap, so let's see how he gets on his first lap of the day.
On board with Nico Rosberg, the man that was challenging for the lead of the Grand Prix until he retired, unfortunately. Both Racing Bulls retired from that race. I think Nico made contact, who was at the time? It was it Pitbull Turbo? It wasn't Pitbull Turbo, but Nico and I think a Mercedes at the time made contact on the turn 3. I was literally just watching that race and I've already forgotten as well. So they made contact going out towards turn 3 and it ended both their races, unfortunately. So it was a massive shame because Nico, I know he's got good pace. I've seen it before on his day. He can really deliver and get those results, but it's just the consistency. It's about maintaining a good level of pressure as well. Try not to crumble under pressure because Nico, he's a really quick driver. He's got a lot to learn, obviously, because obviously Nico is a young German, so he's still got a lot to learn as he gets older about the game as well, trying to stay calm and composed as he makes his way towards the final 2 corners. Nico Rosberg makes his way towards the line, and it's a 27.3 as a starter. Decent lap time so far, especially for a banker lap around here in Suzuka. No obvious mistakes, but obviously a lot of time to be found there for Nico as he tries to get to grips with the track, as every single driver will do so far, as Rising Star goes up into P2. Had a mega qualifying last week. Rising Star was in the top 3, but unfortunately, I mentioned as well in the Discord chat that Rising Star does struggle in the second stint. He just tends to drop away. He just seems to not have the race pace in terms of his blistering qualifying pace. But as a combination, you need both to try and get up there. But unfortunately, Rising Star has got one, but lacking the other. And it's just a shame because Rising Star's got some mighty pace. And when he delivers, he really does. But at the same time, he just can't seem to find the right balance or setup in the car, whether it's his own driving style, whether it's the track, or whether it's the race trim. But either way, he needs to find something to make it work and be up there with his teammate, of course, of Jensen.
And is Jensen here with us? No, I can't see Jensen. So no Jensen tonight either. So obviously, the driver that's taken the most wins, full time that is, this season, with 3 wins all for him. He got them quite early on in the season, to be fair. Not here tonight. So again, another good opportunity for these drivers to get their first win on the belts, as Nolders has just got up to P5. New name, VMS now, no longer CT. I don't know if that was the same last week or not, Jamie, but new name for Nolders.
Yeah, Nodus was CT Nodus. It's not an esports team to CT. It was a Star Wars esports team where we used to go to the we used to fight with amongst the troops and whatever it was back then, because I was CT Indigo at the time. So that's why me and Nodus know each other. It's not because of F1, it's because of Star Wars. That's how me and Nodus met, as Kaname gets so skilled in the exit as he makes his way towards the line as he goes to P6. The championship leader, who hasn't had a race win this season, but he did have one last season. And guess where it was? It was at the Japanese Grand Prix. Brilliantly defended from Hurricane and Beremy, because both Red Bull drivers working together to stay on the podium, because Nordus was catching up. But Remy had a 3-second penalty, therefore Nordus was promoted to P3, and Harry Kane, when he gave up the fight towards Kaname, he dropped out of the DRS race to help his teammates, and when Beremy picked up the penalty, Harry Kane was vulnerable because he couldn't get the DRS at the back of, I think it was Kaname, who ultimately won the Grand Prix. It should have been AMS Bobby, but unfortunately AMS Bobby, we know, who has suffered a lot in terms of SFR, whether it's internet connection issues or a safety car, or any of the problems like Belgium as well. We lost the race win and with towards Hazara, because Hazara managed to get him at the very end of the Grand Prix on the better tyres. So it's been a shame for Bobby. Bobby was running a good position in the Ferrari last season with Kaname. As we see Harry Kane making his way out of the Casio Triangle section, we go. He goes up into P15, and we know that's not a representative lap time there for the Red Bull driver. But Racing and Pitbull Turbo are up there in P2 and P3. Pitbull Turbo, who had mighty pace, but unfortunately retired from the Brazilian Grand Prix last week, because he and Nordus made contact and they both end up in the wall together. But Pitbull Turbo is another driver who has mighty pace, like in Singapore when he first started, but that safety car really did cost him. And it's just a shame, because he's got some mighty pace, but he can't just show it whether things go wrong in terms of racing or strategy-wise or contact with other people. But he's definitely got the pace, and he's 4,000 behind Racing.
Yeah, I was on board with Harry Kane. I don't know if you saw it, but he went off the track during in the S section. Obviously, we see with Harry Kane, he likes to do multiple laps. Obviously, he's currently the slowest out of the current lap times. So he's definitely should be able to improve on that. No problem whatsoever, because he is 1.4 off the fastest lap at the moment. As I think Langfeld is about to start his lap as well. Obviously with Langfeld, fair play to him. He's not always there, but he tries his best every week. I think he's definitely improving as each race goes on. But what we normally see from Langfeld, he's normally one of the first ones out in qualifying, and he's there with somebody nicking the slipstream off. But obviously with this track, the way it is, because it's very snaky, a snaky track, you're going to be losing more time than obviously staying behind someone just because of that dirty air. And the only real option you're going to have and advantage you're going to have is obviously after spoon corner, and basically from there up to turn number 1 is where you're really going to get the slipstream, and then everywhere else you're just going to get dirty air, and it's going to be a massive disadvantage, especially in that sector 1 mainly. But yeah, Langfeld is coming up to spoon now, so let's see what he's going to do. It seems a decent lap so far, no real mistakes from him at the moment, so hopefully it's a good competitive lap time for him. He's coming through towards 130R now. I think he is pretty much the only one that's currently on a lap. I think Harry Kane might be as well. Yeah, Harry Kane is also on a lap as well. We'll stay with Langfeld. He's come through the final chicane now. Again, like I said, very clean lap. Doesn't seem like too over aggressive. Just get to that banker lap, and there we go. 28.8, but main thing is he's got a lap on the board, so yeah, that's good for him, as Harry Kane is about 7.5 tenths up on his lap time, so that will boost him up to at least P10.
It looks like Nico Rassenberg, unfortunately, has sustained end plate damage because he's lost his front wing and he was on a flying lap, so he must have an excursion somewhere, preferably the first sector. So Nico Rassenberg, unfortunately, will have to make a trip back in the pit lane. Racing Bull do have a really strong lineup, but it's the two drivers, they constantly let themselves down. I hate to say it, but you've got to be realistic sometimes. But at the same time, both of them have real potential. Robin had good potential back in Brazil, but he spun in towards turn 10 on the first lap, by the way. He made quite a few places, then he spun in towards turn 10. So both of them have potential, but the desperation, the impatience, the lack of race etiquette as well, which cost him dearly. As Robin goes up to P5 in the Racing Bull, so Racing Bull's currently outperforming the main team of Red Bull. As Beremy sets off to a flying lap, you can see him just in the foreground, in the picture, entering turn number 1 as well. So competitors lap times, Racing as well, who had a very strong outing back in Monza, back in Brazil as well, but he's also one of those drivers who does struggle. His highest result as well was, I think it was, he started in P1 actually at the Monza Grand Prix where he took pole as well. So Racing has had pole position. He was competitive in the Chinese Grand Prix, but the internet just let him down. We know who's a regular top 10 finisher is Racing, but I would love to see what he could do as well when it comes to his day. Pitbull Turbo is also looking very good. He's 1/10 up or more in the first sector as well as Rising Star cross the line to go up into P6 just behind Robin. The two Dutchmen, well, the Dutchman and the German in the Racing Bull team. Here comes Pitbull Turbo now towards the end of the middle sector. The man that made his debut at the Singapore Grand Prix where he was leading and broke the DRS, but the safety car came at the wrong time for him, which ultimately ruined his result. Ickle, the Canadian, goes into P4. Burt back on board with Pitbull Turbo. He might take pole as he makes his way towards the line now. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 27.1. And Pitbull Turbo occupies first place for the time being. Fantastic lap time from the McLaren driver. Let's see if he's beaten as Molnar goes up into P10 in the Haas ahead of Laser.
Yeah, the reason why I was saying is because I was on board with Igor and he was currently on that sector 2 line about 4/10 up on his time, and that was going to be provisionally on pole before Pitbull Turbo took that position, but he had a Red Bull right in front of him through that final chicane, and somehow he lost about 2-3 tenths just from that chicane. I think that Red Bull definitely did not help there, and obviously he won't be happy with that at all. Obviously he did improve a little bit, but it would have probably been, if that Red Bull hadn't been there, he probably could have got pole there. So like I said, Ickle probably won't be too happy about that Red Bull being right in front of him and basically in the way, and yeah, he just won't be happy with that.
It's a shame there for Ickle, but he is back after a long absence. I know that he did struggle back at the Hungarian Grand Prix. There was a lot of contact involved during that race as well. And his last appearance before this was at the Italian Grand Prix. It's Laser! What on earth happened to him there? I think he just lost the car and he just hit the pit lane entry.
Laser got very lucky there that one of his wheels didn't fall off. I know what's happened. It is a very difficult corner, to be fair, that final corner, because obviously you need to be careful on power. You can't really go full throttle because obviously that will happen, and you normally can just spin straight into the pit lane. Obviously with Laser you got very lucky with that, and luckily enough this isn't the main event. Obviously he's only lost his half of the front wing, so he still has time to reset.
I just saw a funny comment in the comment section. Martin says Laser's wonky eye catching him out. Oh, that made me laugh there. That was a good one, Martin. As Daniel says, he must have lost his balance from standing up. we know that Laser likes to stand up when he races. I've never seen or heard that anybody stands up during racing. I did it once when I heard about it, but I just can't do it. I need to sit down during racing.
I mean, I couldn't even do it anyway because I'm on wheel anyway, so it'd be very difficult for me to do it if I was on wheel and pedals. I don't know how you would do it, to be fair, but yeah, I've never done that, to be fair. Not even when I was on my pad days, standing up. It just got very uncomfortable standing up, because you get very achy legs. But obviously, Laser's been doing it, I'm guessing, his whole life. So he's obviously used to it now, and I suppose it'd be very weird for him if he sits down. To be fair, I think he might probably lose pace. We all know he's on pad, of course, but yeah, fair play to Laser for standing up, because I couldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, I imagine him jumping up and down every time something goes wrong. I can just see it. But we got PVG, Laser's teammate there in the Aston Martin. Now, PVG, Oh, it's just been a difficult season. Oh, a massive oversteer going in towards Spoon there. That's where Juan Pablo Montoya overtook Barrichello for the lead of the Grand Prix. But I think Barrichello still wanted to win as well. But for PVG, just a dip in performance recently from the Aston Martin driver. His best result came at the first race, was at the Mexican Grand Prix. It's been a shame because ever since he turned up in the Dutch GP last season, along with Marco, he's had really good pace. But unfortunately, just can't seem to hook it up together. He's won once. He's had a few podiums as well last season. He won at the Imola Grand Prix. It was a McLaren 1-3 on that day when both Red Bulls were caught out due to the wrong strategy. But PVG, can he find his form once again? Can he get back up there? I was expecting a lot from him this season, but we'll see what the Norwegian driver has to offer. He has been very good. Well, he's been very calm this season. I like the way he's approached as well because he was classed as hot-headed like earlier during the season because there was doubts of him. Obviously, from other drivers racing him as well in other leagues, there was doubts for Harry Kane. Every time him and Harry Kane were together on the track, it erupted into chaos. I remember Monaco, I remember Baku as well, and other tracks, but they seem to calm down. They're not really been good friends, has PVG and Harry Kane. I mean, other leagues, I've seen videos for both of them where they end up in contact quite a lot, but hopefully they sort that out. They do seem to be back on a friendly level as well. As Rise of Star then barrels rolled in towards turn 1 and turn 2, flat out through turn 1, braking through turn 2, now entering the S section, takes a lot of curve on the entry. It's all about having a nice line and flow and carrying the speed in the first sector in these S's. It's very easy to mess up through here as well, especially if you take too much curve on the entry. But Dunlop seems very nice indeed as we carry the speed all the way down towards the first deck. Now he is 9,012 as we hit the brakes going in towards the second deck there. Now look at that, very nice and clean as well. Use the curve on the outside as we head down towards the hairpin.
Robin.
Straight line the braking down towards the hairpin. And quick one of Robin, what's happened to him?
He's spun on turn number 2, so that's his qualifying over and done with, unfortunately.
Done. Oh, it's at the end of qualifying already. Unbelievable. This qualifying has flown by. That's why you can definitely tell we're having fun here. But on board with Rising Star in the Mercedes then. Can he rise to the top as he gets very close to Haas? With there as well, who's on his outlap. But Rising Star, he was 9,000 for the first sector. Can he find a time in this middle sector? He can. The gap is 2 tenths. So P2 could be in the cards for Rising Star as he used the little EOS as he can. We're headed towards chicane where I think it was 87 Alan Frost made contact in 1989 as Rising Star. Let's see what he could do then as he crosses the line. It's P2 and he misses out by only 1800ths of a second. Super fine margins there as Pitbull Turbo is down in the first sector. We're coming towards the dying stages in qualifying, so these lap times are critical. Like you said, Robin, unfortunately his qualifying is over and done with, but both Red Bulls in the background, this is Kick Sauber, a Red Bull, Kick Sauber Ferrari, all following each other in the train. Biremi is getting a toe off his teammate as well, so that'll be very beneficial for him when his qualifying ends. But every single driver, barring Langfall, is out on the circuit. We've got the Hassan Hussein, who qualified a really good place back in the Brazilian Grand Prix. He finished in P5 in Brazil. What a fantastic debut for the Haas driver as he exits Spoon now on the throttle once again. Let's see what he could do in this middle sector. The qualifying has been done and dusted. It's an RB who pulls off as Hussein tries to grab a bit of slipstream at 10.7. He doesn't have a reference point because he hasn't set a lap time, but he's about to if he can keep it nice and clean as Pitbull Turbo improves with a 27.0. He is absolutely flying. Is the McLaren driver, but here comes the Haas. Where will he go? That's P3. What a lap time from Hussein. But we've got Nico Rassenberg, who is still on a lap time. We've got Racing Imola. We've got Ickle heading down towards the final 2 corners now. He is 1700s up in the first sector and middle sector as he makes his way dash towards the line. Where can he go? In the Williams. It's P4 for Ickle. Great qualifying indeed as we've got Nico now. And he spun! Oh. Nico spun! And he's hit the wall as he lost traction. Unfortunately, the end of Spoon there, and that's the qualifying done and dusted. But here comes the Alpine driver of Racing then as he makes his way towards the end of the sector, 8 tenths down. So he's not on a flying lap. But Kaname also interested as well. Here he is towards the line. What can Kaname do as he crosses the line? He goes up to P5. That's a decent lap time there from the American driver to put himself amongst the third row with Nico Rassenberg. Fireblaze is back in the pit lane. Laser is on lap time, but not improving in the middle sector. He crossed the line right now. Where can he go? Stays P2. But Harry Kane, his qualifying is undusted. It's been a dismal qualifying for both Red Bulls. They are both will qualify 15th, 16th. But meanwhile, Owen, I will head to the toilet.
Yeah, no worries. I don't know what happened with both Red Bulls. They were right behind each other. And the next time I saw them, Harry Kane's going really slow. Beremi's out of the session. So I'm not 100% sure what has happened between the two. But yeah, as Jamie said, not a very good qualifying session for both Red Bulls. 15th and 16th for them. As Harry Kane is now retired, so then we can go straight onto the race results when it obviously arrives. But yeah, who was on pole? Pitbull Turbo on pole. I don't quite remember how big the gap was, but I can tell you, literally, come on. And he wants to load. I don't think I'll be able to get in time for the race results. So I've got 15 seconds. I've got a blank screen, so I can't tell you what it is. No, I don't want to load by the looks of it, so I can't tell what it is. But Pitbull Turbo on pole anyway. So again, let's see if he can improve or not. And it's sunny, of course it is. They're expecting some kind of rain. Though in Japan, it is quite likely to be raining around here, but we've got nothing. Obviously, Japanese Grand Prix this weekend in real life. Looks like well, both Red Bull and Haas with special liveries. Red Bull going for a white livery, so don't get confused between the B carbs and Red Bulls, Racing Bulls and Red Bull. Obviously, they are now both white for this weekend. I'm sure we won't really get mixed up, to be fair. But yeah, also Yuki Tsunoda filling in that Red Bull seat, replacing Liam Lawson. I should have done that to begin with, to be fair. Quite shocked when I heard that Liam Lawson was going to take that Red Bull over Yuki Tsunoda. But yeah, he's now obviously taking that seat. So we're already getting the session underway, so we're going to see what tyres everyone is on. When it loads up, there it is. So we've got Pitbull Turbo, Wilgner, and Langfeld all on the medium compound tyres, whereas everyone else on the hard compound tyres. So maybe soft will involve. Maybe you can do a hard soft strategy. I'm not sure. I haven't really followed this week in Japan, so I don't really know what the strategy is. But we'll obviously find out very soon. According to possible race strategy, there's a medium hard strategy. Interesting, okay. But again, we normally see that in every race now this season, as it's normally a hard, medium strategy. As Jamie is now back just in time to get the race underway. Hello again.
Usually it takes ages for these drivers to load in, but it seems like they're on the formation anyway, so I had to rush back in. I literally had to rush back in. I was nervous. I thought I missed it already. But yeah, like you said then, majority of people on the hard compound tyres. We've got 3 on the mediums, Pitbull Turbo being one of them in first place. So his job in the first stint is to try and build as much of a gap as he can, try and beat the DRS if it's possible, but I don't want to mention this, but I will have to give you information. Rise to Star does tend to struggle when it comes to longevity, so it could... Oh, Pitbull Turbo as he slides in towards the Casio Triangle chicane there, but luckily not in a full spin, and hopefully his tyres aren't too damaged either, because tyre wear is a thing on the formation lap. So all 90 drivers then ready to race here in Japan. It's a McLaren sandwich with Pitbull Turbo in first and Langfeld down in 90th place. Could there be any surprises? Could both Red Bulls get back up there? Can Lays get back up there? Deniscus as well. What can he do as well in the kick Sauber? We're about to find out, but it's going to be an interesting race, I hope. Caname was last season's race winner, as we see the drivers then line up on the grid. We're here in the land of the rising sun. Who will be first going into turn number 1? We're about to find out as the 5 lights go out as well. Championships have been won here in the past 30 times in its past history. The most recent one, of course, with Max Verstappen in 2022, as all 90 drivers then wait for the lights to go out. Here we go then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are racing here at the Japanese Grand Prix, and mega launch there from the Haas driver as he goes side by side with Rise to Start as we head down towards turn 1 we go. Let's see which one of these two can get ahead. It looks like Hussein with the outside line has a better launch, better grip as the Williams gets all squirrely out of the second corner. Ickle drops down the order, goes from P5 to P7 there. Massive disadvantage, huge blunder as well during this Grand Prix. But Pitbull Turbo remains in the lead as he tries to beat the DRS. Look at these two, Kaname and Nico, going side by side into towards Dunlop they go as the Williams once again gets very, very sketchy on the exit of Dunlop. But here we go in the first dead turn. One of these two is bound to back up Burt. There's contact. Kaname momentarily in the gravel. Luckily, not off the track altogether. That could have been detrimental to his race. Here comes Ickle now, looking to regain the place he's lost as well. Oh, contact going in towards the hairpin. Here comes the Ferrari now of Fireblaze, looking to capitalise, looking to go over the inside. But Ickle seems to have the edge and better exit there. So Ickle has lost a few places, but he's looking now to regain some lost ground. Kaname is struggling. He's 1 second out of the DRS range already from Nico as Ickle goes off the track, and he almost lost the car too as he makes contact with Nodus there. Nodus will not appreciate that, but Ickle remains in P8 then, so he's definitely struggling with the race pace there. He has lost a whole bunch of places. We'll have to make it back up immediately if he can. Yeah,
that's important for Pitbull to get above that 1 second already. Obviously, those medium compound tyres will of course help. And he's currently still extending that, so that will definitely help him. Obviously DRS is now enabled as we go into lap number 2. Obviously we'll start seeing these guys using it during lap number 3, but we'll see some red balls going very wide towards turn 1, but obviously Bearemy getting past Dennis for P14, so Harry Kane and both Bearemy making ground. So obviously started up in P15 and P16, so now up to P12 and P13. Basically now they're working together now to get through the pack. So Harry Kane will obviously being putting obviously now Robin under pressure, and hopefully he'll push kind of Robin offline to give Bearemy the opportunity to obviously go ahead. We've got Langfeld, who has unfortunately spun just on the sector 1 line, so that's very unfortunate for him. But yeah, that's basically what the Red Bulls will be planning to do now, is working together, getting through these guys as quickly as possible.
Look at this, Nico down the inside of Rise to Star. What a sensational move there for Nico to muscle his way up to P3. Now Hussein is in his sights. Pitbull Turbo, however, what a fantastic gap in the first 2 laps of this Grand Prix. Replicated what he did in Singapore, now doing it here in Japan. But the only downfall for him in Singapore was the safety car coming at the wrong time. So hopefully for him, the safety car doesn't come out. Or if it does, hopefully for him at the right time. Preferably around lap 9 and 10, because other guys in the hard compound tyres. But he's built a 2.7 second gap. He is absolutely flying out there. Is the race leader of Pitbull Turbo, hoping and wishing for a clean race. And now Nico moves up into P2 after a dreadful start, losing places. He's regained P2 and puts himself back on the podium playing positions. As look at that, Hussein now struggling the exit of turn 2. There is Rise to Star all at the back of him. But now Nico's been relinquished into P2. Can he catch after Pitbull Turbo? Langfeld's got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lanes. It's been a good start for Red Bull, as we see the nose cam of Hussein, who really did struggle to get out of the corner of Dunlop. But as you can see, Pitbull Turbo has done what he's needed to do. Build that gap over 3 seconds, get himself out of DRS range, and that helped with Hussein and Rise to Star going side by side in the first sector, and also Nico as well. That really helped him build that gap over 3 seconds, and that could help him towards the end of the Grand Prix once he attaches the hard compound tyres. He's got the best tyres for now, but we know what the medium compound tyres are like in terms of internal graining.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he needs to carry on what he's doing, is pull this gap as much as he can before the hard compound tyres then start to obviously come back into action. But he needs to pull that gap as far as possible, have a good enough a gap to obviously he'll be pitting quite earlier on as well, so he'll have the advantage of the undercut. Obviously these guys will be on the medium compound tyres compared to Pitbull's hard compound tyres at the very end, so the gap's going to have to be big enough. We've got a yellow flag at the chicane. I'm not 100% sure what's happening. I think it's something to do with Bearemy maybe and Dennis. I'm not 100% sure. Or the contact with Yarham and Laser and Bearemy, sorry, as Bearemy has dropped right down to P18. So I don't know what's happened there, but yeah, we had a brief yellow flag in sector in that chicane. So that's unfortunate there for Beremy. He's lost out big time.
The main cause of the yellow flag was Coaster Racing. He spun, unfortunately, in this Casio Triangle chicane where Val Schumacher spun as well all those years ago. But he's dropped down into P12, has the Alpine driver, and he's got a lot of work to do as well. A great qualifying, starting in P7, but in the race trim, he seems to struggle there as well. Same with Rise to Start, but Rise to Start is keeping tabs with Hussein as well. As long as he follows the DRS train, he'll be alright, but we know he does tend to drop away. Robin gets a 3-second tab to the RB driver, and he also has a bit of a moment as well on the gravel. Now defending from Deniska right behind. He goes out wide in the hairpin. Will Deniska take advantage of that? He won't. He stays in P13 with Yoram and Laser. Laser, unfortunately, in the last two races, it hasn't gone well whatsoever for the man who is currently third in the championship. Yes, he capitalised late on the Grand Prix with other people having penalties and other people crashing out as well, but it was generally a bad race for Laser. So hopefully for his sake he can regain his form as well, because we know he's very quick on his day. Look at Laser, will he send it up the inside like Fernando Alonso did back in 2005 against Schumacher? Oh, there's contact there, and look at that, Yoram saves the car somehow as we head down towards the chicane we go. Here comes the Sauber now of Draugen versus Pocket Guy, as Draugen now just stays ahead of his fellow Norwegian compatriot there, as Beremy now is looking to take advantage, but third place is spicing up there between Nico, Hussein and Rising Star. Once again, Hussein is running a fantastic race as well. He steadily made his way up the ladder as well during the Brazilian Grand Prix. Was outside the top 10, started 11th I think he did, and he made his way up to P5 towards the end of the Grand Prix, capitalising from people's mistakes such as Laser, Nordis and Pitbull Turbo when he made contact on the final lap. So Hussein is another competitor, and once again Pitbull Turbo, oh, there's a spinner. Nordis is out of the race.
Nordis,
he is out of the Grand Prix. And that is a virtual safety car.
Virtual.
Where has he crashed? Let's have a look. As Harry Kane gets a 10-second time penalty.
Oh.
They could have crashed. And they have. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, he's got damage. So, I'm guessing they've made contact. Obviously, Nora doesn't come off worse. They've obviously been going... Someone's had a bad exit out of the S section. Someone's had a better exit. I believe it's going to be Harry Kane that's probably had the better exit over Nordis. I believe Harry Kane got the better exit over Nordis, like I said, yes. And then, yeah, obviously they've just made contact and Nordis has gone spinning out of the race, and Harry Kane's just got away with that little bit of damage with a 10-second penalty, of course. So obviously he's going to have to pit, and I think he's going to have to serve that 10-second penalty. So we won't even be able to get rid of it if obviously the game's done it incorrectly. But DRS is back enabled again. But Pitbull Turbo got really lucky with that, because that massive gap that he just produced might have just gone all down the drain. But yeah, so Pitbull Turbo's got a little bit lucky with that as well.
Look at this, Rise of Star as well getting close to the back of Hussein. The gap for P2 is splashing up, but yes, Pitbull Turbo, who's doing a phenomenal job in P1, as we said. The gap keeps increasing as well, so he's got some monumental pace on the mini compound tyres. Can he keep it up? The gap is almost 5 seconds as well. So Pitbull Turbo showing us what he's capable of. We know what he was capable of, but unfortunately, when the safety car came at the wrong time, when he made contact with people, that's when it started to go wrong. It diminished the pace of Pitbull Turbo, and it really overshadowed what he could have done. But here in Japan, he is proving the people wrong, definitely proving me wrong, and he's built a gap of 5 seconds as well. I wished him good luck as well during the Japanese Grand Prix, and he certainly wished him good luck as well. So let's see, can he keep it up as well? But he's going to push really hard, because we know the people behind him are on the hard compound tyres, so in a few laps the crossover point will start to happen, therefore his BDs will start to go off, and we know the hard compound tyre is very durable, and when those guys pit onto the medium compound tyres later on, that's when Pitbull Turbo needs to have his wits about him. So it's very good for him in the early stages to build that gap as much as he can, ready for the fight later on in the Grand Prix. It's a long game of chess as well, so everything matters in this first stint for Pitbull Turbo. But so far, the likes of Nico cannot catch up, because Nico is having to deal with Hussein, Rise of Stark in name, and Fireblaze right behind as well. There's a big gap between P6 and P7 actually, between Milner and Fireblaze, so that gap has been split up there. It's a bit of a breakage in the DRS trade, a few drivers being distributed after a few people spinning out as well, including Racing and Nordis as well, and Harry Kane. So it might have split up the DRS as Laser now up into P9 ahead of the Sauber, who gets swapped to the straight because Robin now comes through as he puts himself into P10 ahead of the Kick Sauber there. But so far so good for Pitbull Turbo. There is 20 laps left in the Grand Prix. But what a massive contrast, because the top three in the podiums last season. Unfortunately, done 15th, 17th, and last, and retired as well. So it's a huge blunder. What a difference a season can make here in Japan.
Yes. Yeah, it's quite a big difference to be fair. Obviously, we've seen so many drivers that's come in for obviously since that obviously last race round here. But yeah, that's quite surprising to be fair. To obviously the top three of the podium last season, all the way down in the bottom 15 at the moment. Obviously, Beremy and Harry Kane not having the qualifying that they want. Nordis has got very unlucky with the contact with Harry Kane. That's why Harry Kane's down there in 17th as well. But yeah, let's see if they can do anything. Harry Kane's races, well, all Harry Kane is hoping for now is basically a safety car, just to for his sake to be able to get into the back of this race again. But obviously, the teammate Beremy is right in the back of this massive pack at the moment between Laser and obviously Beremy in P15. So that's this battle is between P9 and P15 at the moment. I think this is the biggest battle. Obviously, there's another battle going on to that podium space between Hussein, Nico, and all the way going down to obviously Fireblaze as well. So we've got two trains at the moment, two DRS trains going on at the moment. Obviously, one right at the front, one right at the back, and a tiny one in the middle with Wilner and Racing.
Yep, a few people spread out in terms of this DRS train. Not the usual, the big DRS train we see, but obviously we've seen a lot of people make mistakes and contacts have been made as well. And a few people going side by side in the most obscure places as well. So that's why there's been a big breakage in the DRS train. A few groups now started to develop and form, but we know that Pitbull Turbo is alone for the time being. His mini compound tyres, though, still look in good shape. He's not losing too much time towards Hussein, keeping that gap stable around 5 seconds, but he lost 4 or 5 tenths in just the space. Did you see that? The gap went from 4.9 to 4.4.
He must have made a little bit of a mistake on the exit of the hairpin. Obviously, the traction without the hairpin is quite difficult to achieve. So yeah, it must have been that hairpin. So it looks like now he is starting to struggle a little bit. Obviously, the crossover point looks like it's beginning to start coming in now with the hard compound tyre. So this is a definite, very important stint now for Pitbull, especially for the next couple of laps now before he comes into the hard compound tyres. And then that stint as well, when he comes out the hard compound tyres, that's also going to be important because obviously he'll be trying to do the undercut. But he's got to be wary with traffic because he might be vulnerable to be, I would say, just behind the pack of the battle between Laser, Robin, Dennis, Johan Dragon and Pocket Valley Guy and Bear Remy. So that battle, I reckon he might come out of when he pits. Or it might be just in between Beremy and Ickle, to be fair. So he may or may not get away with this, but Ickle's actually retired, so there's an even bigger gap now between the pit stops now. But I think it's still a little bit too early to obviously pit and go on a hard compound tyres, but he'll definitely be in soon.
We just saw a moment from Robin out of Dunlop. He struggled with traction. The exit Hurricane sets the fastest for the Grand Prix, of course, with bonus set medium compound tyres. Ickle has retired. But I've noticed something as well during this Grand Prix. The clouds are gathering in. It seems getting darker and darker.
Yeah.
Could rain impact the circuit as well? We've seen rain impact the circuit last season and the season before as well. Season 14, season 15, sorry, what an incredible race. I think MDJ was the one that won the season 14's race, and I think it was Harry Kane later on in season 15. But yes, what an incredible race indeed. Deniscus gets a 3-second time penalty as well during this Grand Prix. Nordis, sorry, what were you going to say?
I tell you what, that's probably the reason why everyone's on the hard compound tyres. They are expecting rain at the maybe middle 3/4 to the end of this Grand Prix. So I was quite surprised to see a lot of these guys on the hard compound tyres, but this might be the reason why they're all on hard compound tyres to begin with, to obviously extend that obviously tyre duration to hopefully be able to reach the rain. But Racing and Wilner obviously getting overtaken, Racing getting overtaken by Wilner, so medium compound tyres still seem to be okay, not too bad at the moment.
We could see 3 consecutive wet Grand Prix around here in Japan because the monsoon weather hits the circuit and it hits it absolutely hard as well. So when the rain does come, it would definitely change the whole trajectory of this Grand Prix. It all depends who's got it right, because let's say Pitbull Turbo on the medium compound tyres, was he looking at the information on the weather forecast? Because let's say if it rains, that's the question of when. Because if Pitbull Turbo pits on the hard compound tyres, let's say lap 13, 14 as normal scheduled stop, and let's say when the rain hits, when the hard compound tyres are out there, that's 2 stops for Pitbull Turbo, medium hard inter, where the rest can go hard to inter. That's what I got caught out by in Brazil. Exactly. That's why I got caught out in Brazil, because I did the mediums to hards to inters, because I could not survive on the medium compound tyres because the rain came about lap 26, 7, and I could not make the mediums last till that, so I had to pit. I was forced to box because of my lack of information on the weather forecast. So it might bounce him back, Pitbull Turbo, but hopefully it doesn't, because he's run such a solid race.
Yeah, the gap's starting to come down. Now it's now down to 3.2, so about half a second a lap now at the moment is, I would say, is the gap between Nico. Well, it's how much Nico's pulling Pitbull in at the moment per lap. But I reckon around about lap 11 now is when you normally stop to come out. So obviously when you're on those medium compound tyres, pit to go into those hard compound tyres. So now this is going to be very critical now for Pitbull. If there is rain. Obviously, we don't know that, Jamie. But if there is rain, that's what Pitbull's mentality is right now. Is why is it not raining yet? I need this rain to come right now because I am screwed, basically. Because if like I said, if he stops now on hard compound tyres and then the rain comes out, that's it. He's got pit again, and then he'll be with Harry Kane. So yeah, it's going to be not great if the rain comes as soon as he goes under hard compound tyres. So he needs that rain to come now, if we are expecting rain, that is.
I concur with you, as Dragon gets a massive slide in towards the hairpin. So I've just noticed, well, all these guys scrapping away for P10 are all struggling in the S section. All of them had their moments, and that's why all of them on the back of each other. It's like a consider effect where one driver struggles and the rest of them as well. So they've all had their moments. We've seen Dinescus, we've seen Pocky Balagai and Dragon get the robos out, as I think Dinescus has a big mistake out of Spoon. And here comes this Kickstarter teammate now, wheel to wheel with him as he puts himself into P12. Here comes the Aston Martin of PVG, side by side into 130R. They're both still wheel to wheel as they make it out very cleanly indeed as we head down. Oh, he spins! He touched the grass on the outside and he's gone for a spin, unfortunately. As we see, the battle for P3 and P4, there is so much going on during this Grand Prix. Even notifications from our PS start to pop up as well. But I think these guys are starting to struggle a bit with the tyre temperatures dropping down as well, or the track temperature dropping down. Pitbull Turbo's gap is dropping down too. It was 5 seconds, now it's 3. Even Hussein is struggling too. You can see it. Every single driver seems to have some sort of issue in the first sector, whether it's the grip is not there because it's getting corner on corner. But we'll see how it affects these drivers. But however, I've got some information on Nordus. Nordus has just sent me a video. So down towards turn 1, he's behind Ickle, going towards turn 2. Ickle struggling as we exit turn 2. He's still behind him. Right behind him is Wilner and Harry Kane. Harry Kane's about a second back from Wilner. So both Williams got involved in some sort of contact. But as we head down towards Dunlop, it seems that Ickle has lost the car. He has! Ickle lost the car, and unfortunately makes contact with his teammate and spins again! Oh! That's twice they made contact. Unbelievable! As we watched the battle between Hussein and Kanaim. Actually, Harry Kane was the innocent victim. He wasn't involved, but unfortunately had nowhere to go because Ickle lost it twice and took out his own teammate. That's why they were down there together. Oh, in Dunlop, what a shame there for Nordus, because we saw Ickle really fighting with the rear of the cars. Nico almost lost the car as well, going down towards the chicane. Here we are on the main straight. Nico is about to get swamped. Here comes Hussein. Here comes Kanaim, side by side with him, now ahead of him, as they both promote themselves up into P2 and P3. Rising Star seems to be struggling because Fireplace is right behind him too.
Yeah, so this battle for P2 is currently heating up. It's obviously going to help Pitbull to maintain that gap. And obviously it didn't come down as much as the previous lap, but like you said in the previous lap, to be fair, Jamie, these drivers do definitely struggle through the S sector. So God knows what it's like for Pitbull at the moment on these tyres, but fair play to him to making this work at the moment. But yeah, excuse me. Lap 13 now and he still hasn't pitted, so at the end of this Grand Prix, but 2.5 seconds is the gap. If Pitbull can, as my Fireblade really losing the car there at the hairpin, but if this really does work out for Pitbull, it's going to be a miracle if the rain comes out for him, just for his sake. He'll be praying right now for his sake.
Check your DMs, by the way. I sent you a video of what happened to Nordus. That's a clear explanation what occurred going on towards the lap 8, I think it was, lap 5, sorry, the Grand Prix. Both Williams are out of course because Ickle lost control of the car twice and Norris unfortunately was caught up with the incident too. So the gap's going down and Pitbull Turbo's pitted. I was about to mention how long is Pitbull Turbo going to keep this up, because I thought for 1 second he was going to wait for the rain. But how long will it take for the rain to impact the circuit? He's been in compound tyres, are starting to fall off a cliff, so therefore when the rain does come, he won't have the grip on those mediums either to survive in the rain where these people know hard to do. So he's a bit of a predicament. He needs to hope that the rain doesn't hit, in about a few laps time, because if it does, then he will have to go from mediums to hards to inters, whereas these guys can go from hards to inters. So Pitbull Turbo will be a bit nervous when it comes towards the rain period, because he'd be hoping it comes very late in the Grand Prix, but we know the hard compound tyres are very durable, so I think the people on the hards might be waiting for the inters. They won't pit just yet, but I think rain is imminent, on its way, hence why people start on the hard compound tyres. Burmeister is saying that Rising Star for the podium. Do you know what? Rising Star so far, a massive contrast to the last few races we've seen him in, where he kept dropping down the order. He has done a super job as Rising Star. A very good character, a very nice guy indeed, a man from Saudi Arabia, and he's doing fantastic as well in the Mercedes. He doesn't have Jensen with him tonight, unfortunately. I think he's the only one. No, Yarm's got, his team is Yarm, but we are missing one more person. So one person out there is missing their teammates. But anyways, Nico is still putting pressure on Kaname. It's a battle for the top 3 because Pitbull Turbo now has pitted down to P14. He's one of the people who was pitted from mediums to hards, but the rest of them are on the medium compound tyres. Robin picks up a 3-second time as Kaname slides through the Castle chicane. Look at these guys bunching up in the final few corners. Nico cuts the corner in the final corner too, so he might have picked himself up a warning. Here we go then on the main straight. It's lap 15 out of 27, and here comes Kaname, here comes Nico, but Kaname didn't want to go for the overtake just yet. He wants to stay in P2, but Nico forced him to a move, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Pitbull Turbo, if there isn't any rain, he has done an amazing strategy, to be fair. So really the opposite of everyone else. I mean, I think he was a bit unexpected to see people go starting on hard compound tyres. So surely there's going to be rain just because of that reason. But yeah, no, obviously with the top 5 currently battling it out, obviously Pitbull's now going to start to hit a bit of traffic with Dennis and Beremi right in front of him, but with that, it's going to be good news for Pitbull, of course. Oh, rain! We have rain just started now. So rain has now just hit the circuit. Now it's time to see when is it going to get wet. Oh, Pitbull, a couple of more laps than he could have pitted to go on the intermediate compound tyres maybe, but he's really now got caught out from this.
Oh, I feel so bad. These guys obviously have the tyre life still on their hard compound tyres, so when the rain does start to have an effect on the track, when it gets wetter, they can go on the hard compound, they can go on the inters, and they've got to change position. Beremi's now up to P11, so I think Robin had an issue. Pitbull Turbo's behind his train, so he needs to get past immediately. He needs to try and use the tyre advantage to get past these guys as much as he can. He's going to lose loads of positions when the rain hits the circuit. He's right behind Robin as well, so I really hope it don't end in disaster and chaos as he's side by side with the RB. But the RB of Nico's up into P2, but as we watch the battle for P12 unfolding between Robin and Pitbull Turbo, here he is with the DRS. It is so pivotal to get past now. Can't afford to lose any time. Oh, there's contact there between those two, and more contact. What is going on between those two there? As Pitbull Turbo now is up into P12, so must have been unhappy with each other. We can definitely tell it. He's losing the grip already on the hard compound tyres. What a shame for Pitbull Turbo. Looks like he was running his own race, doing a fantastic job, but like Martin Brundle said, be on the right tyre at the right time.
Yeah, exactly that. Unfortunately, he's just got the strategy wrong. I mean, I thought he might have got this strategy right. I thought there weren't going to be any rain because he went on to the hard compound tyres. If there was rain, I was probably expecting him to maybe go onto the soft compound tyres. But obviously he decided to go on hard compound tyres. Now he's getting past... someone made a mistake. It's Pitbull and Beremi. It's both gone off the track, so already people are starting to lose a bit of grip, but Pitbull is one of the big names there, is losing grip.
I was on board with both of them, so they made contact, they tagged wheels, and both of them went off the track, so we can't get it bad there. If he had no look at all, what's the saying? If he had no back look at all, I don't know what the saying is. I completely forgot, but I think you know what I'm talking about. if he had no bad luck, he had no luck at all, or something like that, as Martin Butter would say. But it's a massive shame for Pitbull Turbo because the man has some amazing pace. We've seen it race. Oh, contact between Nico and Kaname there. That was very close indeed between these two. These two have had some excellent fights as well in the past. But can he keep it nice and clean as well during the circuit? Nico, he's only finished 2 races this season. Back in Abu Dhabi, back in Austria. And the rest of them have been in DNFs as well. So not been a good start to the season for Nico Rosberg, unfortunately. But the young driver is finding his feet and hopefully we can start to see some really good results as well. He looks like he's on course with the Japanese Grand Prix, but the rain has hit the circuit as well. So let's see what these drivers are like in the wet conditions. Can they adapt very quickly? What is their setup like? Is Nico almost thinks about setting the inside in towards the hairpin, but too far away to make a move. Now Pitbull Turbo is ahead of the Kick Sauber before Degner 1, and that was very crucial indeed not to get stuck behind him.
Yeah, I think one of the big questions is, well, not really a big question, but a good thing is that they haven't really got their teammates about. So obviously when they come into the pits, and if they do need a double stack, they won't lose too much time. Like I said, because their teammates aren't too close to each other. So whoever's like second out in the teammate battle, they won't lose too much time. As Nico and Kaname, Nico tries to have a look at 130 yard, but Kaname nearly loses the back end out of the chicane. So these guys are starting to lose a bit more grip. Worn hard compound tyres on a wet track. That's going to be very difficult indeed. But Nico with the DRS, still DRS enabled as well. So gets past Nico, Kaname, sorry, does he side by side. As Hussein goes off the track, Nico and Kaname still side by side going on to turn number 3, and somehow still side by side through the S section. This is very brave from both of them, with a bit of contact made, but Kaname is able to do good defending and keep that P1 position. But yeah, worn hard compound tyres on a wetting track isn't going to go well at all, and it's going to be very difficult to keep these cars on track, especially if you're running no TC, of course, as well. Which obviously I'm expecting these guys are running no TC.
Oh, contact in the hairpin. Nico and Kaname, they make contact in towards the hairpin. Rising Star takes the lead, but here comes Kaname back in the lead, and Nico takes away P2. Here comes Fireblaze as well, taking advantage of Nico, who is a ghost so far. Where's Rising Star? Demoted to P4, but Nico is still a ghost. He goes through up into P2, so despite contact, the top 2 are still in the lead of the Grand Prix. It was so sketchy going down there towards the hairpin because they were fighting very, very hard indeed there. Nico was forced to the inside, then he lost the back of the car, therefore made contact with Kaname. But elbows out, it is a race for attrition here at the Japanese Grand Prix, and it's going to continue to get like this. And even when the race hit the circuit, it's going to be very difficult. What's the strategy? Hards to mediums or hards to inters? Surely inters, because the track is continuing to get wetter and wetter. But Fireblaze is back on the podium in P3. Who?
I thought Pitbull was going to. Well, he has made contact with Dennis Kuz, and he basically made contact with him, and then just decided to not even attempt to turn the steering wheel and went straight into the wall. And to me, I don't think that's a lag out. That seems to be a
rage quit.
What you call it? A rage quit. Yeah, there you go. As his AI does actually come into the pits now. I'm guessing his AI has decided to come in to change his front wing, and decides to go into a medium compound tyres for some reason.
It's another hectic race, but Kaname, second season in a row, finds himself in the lead of the Grand Prix. He was comfortable last season in the lead because he was out of the DRS range of Hurricane and Beremi, but this time he's got Nico, Fireblaze, Hussein right behind him, taking advantage at any moment given there. So can Kaname get his first win of the season in Japan, but get his second consecutive win in Japan as well? He's very strong at the Japanese Grand Prix, is Kaname. AMS Bobby was the one that was leading the Grand Prix until he lagged out early on. They were both in the Ferrari together, so both Ferraris had good pace, but now Kaname is in the Alpine. He's the championship leader. He's had so many podiums. He's been super consistent. In the podium interviews, he said he's focusing on getting the best results he can, even if it's second, third most of the time. But Nico hits the back of him, and Kaname goes out wide, cuts the corner, and he gets a 3-second time penalty. Nico Rosberg has cost him a 3-second time penalty, and what's the stewards state about that?
Yeah, he'll definitely be able to get that removed, but Nico's wiggling his wheel to say he braked too early, brake check, as we say. So Nico wasn't happy about Kaname's braking as such. But at the end of the day, you are a driver. I mean, I don't think Kaname will be doing that intentionally, but you got to be wary when you're very close to the driver in front of you. You need to basically brake a little bit more than what you would, just to avoid the contact like Nico and Kaname have made. But if Kaname doesn't pick up another warning, he should be able to get that removed. Well, that warning removed, no problem, and that 3-second penalty removed. And no positions has been an advantage as such. As we now start seeing some puddles on the circuit, so these guys really starting to lose grip now. So intermediate tyres is definitely going to be the way now. Well, very soon. I think DRS is still enabled for it, but obviously Pocket Valley guy, Bearemy and Kane all on the intermediate compound tyres now. As Bearemy's actually lost it at turn number 3, so intermediate tyres may not be the right tyre to be on at this stage.
That's crucial information, whether these guys know that Bearemy is on the Inters or not. So is Harry Kane. They're both on the Inters. PVG is on the Inters. That's good information for Laser in P7. I'm not quite sure how close those two are, but they were in a party before, but not anymore because I think he's been noticed and someone else. But here we are, out of final corners, Fireblazers lost to DRS. But in the pit lane then comes Kaname and Nico. Yeah. Everybody is dashing the pit lane. It is time for the intermediate tyres as Rising Star taps the back of Fireblazers as well, going to the pit lane. So they survived 21 laps on a set of the hard compound tyres. That's interesting.
Very interesting to see Laser. The only one, and he's saying stay, or is he saying out? No, it's just obviously his pit box is one of the last ones, so obviously he went into the lead. But yeah, Laser has decided to stay out. So maybe Pocket Valley guy and himself communicating. I don't know. I don't think they normally do communicate. I think he normally communicates with Nordis. Laser does, but yeah, he's decided to stay out. Same with Draugen as well. He's also stayed out. Wilner has stayed out on 2-lap hold hard compound tyres, so unfortunately he was unable to extend that medium compound stint to the intermediate. So again, same with him, he's lost a lot of ground because obviously when he commits now onto the intermediate compound tyres, he's going to be right at the back of the pack as well.
And Kaname has caught up to Draugen. Draugen has been sliding as well. Now Kaname is willing to take advantage. Be very careful though not to make the overtake because Nico's right behind. Here we go, in the hairpin we go. Can Kaname go on the outside? The kicks out, but loses his rear end. And Nico goes around the outside of Kaname, Draugen as well. So the two are securely up into P2 and P3. This is going to be a mega battle. We've seen carnage as well during this Grand Prix. Pandemonium during this Grand Prix, and once again in the wet conditions it's Nico versus Kaname. Nico seems to have better confidence in the corners, he gets super close in the corners as well, so that's where he is strong, whereas Kaname seems to be stronger on the straights it seems. So Fireblaze now puts himself into P4 ahead of the Kickstarter, but here comes Draugen. And here comes Rising Star, gets ahead of Draugen, puts himself into P5. There's still a battle for the podium going on between these two, Rising Star versus Fireblaze, as Laser is in the pit lane then. So that 1 lap later did not work whatsoever because he lost a whole heap of time as Rising Star struggles in the exit. But here is Nico right behind. Two of them go for their first win of the season. Will it be Nico? Will it be Kaname? As we head down towards turn 1 we go. Oh, contact as Kaname slides through the corner of turn number 1, but keeps it on the road there. This is just so intense. Maybe Fireblaze could be brought back into contention if these two continue to have more drama in this Grand Prix. This is just going to get very intense between these two. Look at this. Nico, very confident to the corners. Kaname seems to lose his grip a bit in the first sector.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, Nico, he does normally gain advantage in the corners. Look how much cornering speed he has. Maybe he's got more of a wet setup on, then, well, obviously more downforce on his car than he does normally run. Because, like you said, you could see, he gains a lot of times in the corners, but then Kaname gets a better exit and just pulls away in that hairpin. But Nico, with using a bit of ERS, will be able to gain that gap back in again. They are starting to catch up to Langfell as well, the lapped car, so hopefully he doesn't get in the way too much, because obviously this is quite an intense battle at the moment, so he wants to try and stay away from this as much as he can as well. But yeah, Kaname and Nico, a couple of laps ago, obviously Kaname he's obviously got that 3-second penalty, but if you haven't got picked up another warning, he should be able to get that removed. Langfell gets a 3-second penalty. Nico gets the 3-second penalty, and I did see him cut the chicane, to be fair. So unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to get that removed.
Have you noticed that DRS is still enabled? DRS is still enabled.
Oh my god, yes, it is. It is. I didn't even notice that. I thought it was disabled a couple of laps ago.
Me too, but here comes Fireblade side by side with Rising Star. These two fighting for a podium, and seems Rising Star gets ahead, up into P3, and that is so close between Nico and Kaname there. I feel for these two because it's going to get very chaotic. The win is on the line. The track is continues to get wetter and wetter, more greasier as well, as the drivers find the grip through the first sector throughout the whole lap. Nico at Fireblades and Rising Star could still be contention for a win. You never know if Kaname's picked up more warnings, but Nico definitely has got a legitimate 3-second penalty. We don't know if Kaname's can be removed or not when he jumped over the chicane. DRS has been disabled. Nico on the inside, in towards the hairpin. He makes the corner stick, but Kaname gets a better exit with the switchback. Here we are, they barge wheels once again, as we see more contact between those two. Kaname is down as a P2. Nico Rassenberg takes the lead with an aggressive move like Kamu Kobayashi back in 2012. But this is going to keep chopping and changing with these two continuously scrapping out as well. If these two make some sort of contact, Fireblaze, Rising Star could also find themselves winning the Grand Prix. The top four haven't won a race yet this season, but here comes Kaname, side by side, in towards 130, how we go, it's wheel to wheel, they make contact, Nico's on the track. It is so fine margins there between these two, neither driver giving an inch. It's a race for attrition, race for pride, and neither driver is willing to back down as Kaname squirms out the final corner we go. Head on to lap 24, there is 3 laps left to go in the Grand Prix. Do not go anywhere, this is going to get heated up. The climax of this race is building up towards the last 3 laps, and I cannot wait to see. It may be Rising Star who could win this Grand Prix, or Fireblaze. Look at Hussein, could be in the podium too in P5. He's finished in P5 in Brazil. He's up into P3 now. This has been a fantastic race. And guess what? Look who's still on the hard compound tyres. Bona. P7 still on the hards.
Interesting, to be fair. I'm guessing he's going to try and go to the end now, but obviously, if he goes on to the intermediate compound tyres now, he's going to be, P13, P14. So why not? See if you can obviously beat that and try and do your best. Only a couple of laps to go as well, so he should be okay to, he shouldn't be okay, but he's going to try and do his best now as much as he can.
I hope that when Rising Star catches up, I hope he fights Kaname, because I don't think he knows that Kaname potentially can remove a penalty, because in certain situations, when you're in P3, you see the top 2 have a 3-second penalty, and it's difficult to overtake. You just want to play it safe, knowing that Fireblaze is right behind too. So if a certain situation like this appears, I hope Rising Star does attack him and not sit behind him, because you never know if Kaname can remove that 3-second penalty or not. But here we are, down towards the final 2 corners we go there between Nico Rassenberg and Kaname. Elbows out between these two, not an inch given between these two, as PVG gets himself another 3-second penalty during the course of the Grand Prix. Laser is right behind Yaram. We barely spoke about Yaram, but so far he is doing a mega job. The man that won the Japanese Grand Prix yesterday after being hunted down is up into P7 then, so fantastic drive once again from Yaram in Division 1, as we see Nico Rassenberg and Kaname explore their way to the first sector, being very tentative indeed, being very careful, trying not to use too much curb. They're actually putting away from Rising Star in P3 as well, so the top 2 have good pace despite batting out as well, as Fireblaze is looking to overtake Rising Star, but this time the DRS is not enabled then, so we have to do all the hard work somewhere on the track. The hairpin maybe, the first corner, and PVG's going for a spin at turn number 2, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, he's gone as well, but Yarham and Laser, obviously turn number 1, Yarham did good defending to obviously go around the outside to defend that lane, that line, and like I said, that turn number 1, it seems like the outside line is definitely better than the inside line. We normally see that at turn 1 at the Netherlands as well, but Nico, he likes to go a little bit sideways. I've been on board with Kaname most of the time, and Nico likes to go sideways a lot of the time. Obviously he's not really losing too much time when he goes sideways, but interesting tactic there. And still Pitbull, obviously Pitbull's not in session, but Harry Kane also on a soft compound tyre is still not pitted either, as he's actually now pulled away to get lapped. This is the first time I have seen Harry Kane getting lapped, to be fair, and that's just how bad his race has just gone today.
And his season really has no highlights other than the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, his first win since last season. But other than that, it's just been a dreadful season. And Fireblades now side by side. He's up into P3. Great move. He's up on the podium now into P3 ahead of Rise of Star. Look at Hussein. Hussein has driven a beautiful race here in Japan. He finished in P5 at the Brazilian Grand Prix. He could finish P5 again or maybe the podium, but it's so difficult to overtake around here. Look at these guys continuously sliding as they continue screaming and fight for traction here as well here in Japan. These guys are trying to survive as well as the conditions get worse and worse now. I think the intermediates are the best way to go. But look at this, Kaname there, right step back in Nico. Kaname's more conservative in terms of overtaking, but here we are down the hairpin. Not to be this time in towards the hairpin. May have been a chance, but he didn't go for it, he didn't send it. Nico would have done, I dare say. But Kaname is a bit more conservative. He very methodical in terms of going for overtakes. He plans at the right time. He's not one of those drivers that sees a gap, he always goes for it. But he always plans it when he needs to, overtakes them. And there's a Mercedes who's spun as well. Is that Mercedes? That's the Aston Martin PVG.
PVG, yep. He's, again, been also lapped. So 3 drivers now have actually been lapped in this Grand Prix. So we rarely see drivers getting lapped. Obviously with these cars being all equal and that, and obviously the drivers be very close to each other in pace wise. Obviously they're in Division 1 because obviously they're the fastest in the league. But yeah, it's still set to yellow flag. I think that's for PVG. Is Kaname now gonna maybe go for the move on Nico? This is the final lap of the Grand Prix. Around the outside, is that gonna make him work? No, he goes and tries to go down the inside of turn number 2, but still doesn't work. So good defending by Nico.
Fireblades is out the territory of getting a win, 3.3 seconds. But if these two scrap away very hard, it could bring Fireblades back into contention. Fireblades, look at Nico, really is struggling in that first sector. Fireblades needs to push if he wants a chance of winning the Grand Prix. His first win, the top 3 are going for their first win of the season. The best places have been second, Nico, Fireblades and Kaname as well. Here we are headed down towards the second deck there. Is there any way for Fireblades, Kaname, to get past on Nico as we head down towards the hairpin we go? Too far back in this occasion, but Fireblades, he knows there's a win. He is absolutely pushing. He has cleared Rising Star. Hussein is right behind the Mercedes, so Rising Star is losing traction, losing pace towards Fireblades. He has been relinquished and released to catch after the top 2 in terms of that 3-second penalty, but this could get very, very spicy indeed, like Alan Frost and Ayrton Senna back in 1989 when they made contact going down towards chicane. We've got Nico versus Kaname then as the ERS is being deployed. Which one of these two will end up first out of the final corner? Here we are going down towards 30R. Is Kaname going to go down the inside of Nico? Let's see. Nico defends the inside line. We can't get Kaname for the time being then as we make our way towards the final 2 corners. And here we are. Is there any chance for Kaname to get past him? As we make our way out of the final corner, it is Nico Rosberg who wins the Japanese Grand Prix, his first win of the season, and Fireblades misses out. Unfortunately, his DRS has been enabled as Hussein finishes in P4 ahead of Rising Star, racing in P6 ahead of Yoram, who's run a fantastic race. But here comes Laser. Laser's quite close to the back of him. When again with the DRS, let's have a look. Oh, he's so close, but Laser did not get him. Dinesker's in P9 and Wilner, the only driver out there to stay on the hard compound tyres, is P10 then. What a Japanese Grand Prix. Fireblades has missed out.
Wilner really struggling to get that line, and he eventually gets it. But yeah, P11, now obviously if he did pit, it would have been about P14, so obviously only a couple of positions, but obviously he's got more points on the board, so he'll be alright with that.
How would Fireblades feel knowing that he missed out on the potential win because he had to deal with Hussein and Rising Star? And once he cleared Rising Star, he did gain, but not enough. But congratulations to Nico Rosberg. Obviously, there is post-race stewards as well, post-race classifications. There we go. So we don't know if Nico's won the Grand Prix because there was a moment between Kaname and him in the chicane where, unfortunately, it seems like Nico outbroke himself, pushed Kaname off the track and gave him a 3-second penalty. But Hussein, a mega job once again. P5 in Brazil, P4 here at the Japanese Grand Prix. And once again, it's been a classic Japanese Grand Prix. The last 3-4 races here in Japan with rain has been phenomenal. I remember last season, season 15, when I think MDJ won, but Harry Kane was fighting for a podium against, I think, Samid and Glock at the time. Samid and Glock were losing a lot of time because of old inters, the tyres were graining, and they had a puncher with Harry Kane pitted with 5 laps left to go on a brand new set of inters and still finished in P2 because he gained about 5 seconds a lap, literally. And the season before, when it was raining, Noah Dietrich was leading, but unfortunately lost his wing. And did you just laugh?
Huh?
I thought you just laughed then.
No.
It must have been your
No,
mic.
I didn't say anything. I think it was. Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. There's your classifications, pre-race classifications. Nico Rosberg wins ahead of Kaname. Fireblaze on the podium once again in P3 ahead of Hussein in the Haas. Mega drive for him again. Rising Star P5, Racing, Quiet Racing P6 ahead of Yoram. P17 to P7 in Division 1 for Division 2 driver. Round of applause for him. P7 did a mega job. Lays P8 ahead of Daniscus. Dragon P10. Wilner in P11 finished on the hard compound tyres ahead of Robin Racing in P12. Beremy 13th. Pitbull Turbo. Oh, what a shape for Pitbull Turbo there. It just can't go his way. Even though it does seem like he's going to go his way, something just happens. Whether it's rain, strategy, safety cars. 3rd, 4th race in a row where something bad has happened. Lankville 15th, Hurricane 16th, Pocky Badagai 17th, Ickle, Nordis, 2 Williams out of the race. And it's been a very bad day for Red Bull indeed. What a race, I mean, Madsa. That was a fantastic Grand Prix to commentate again.
Yeah, another good race. Obviously, it seemed like it was going to be Pitbull's race to lose. Obviously, with the gap of 5 seconds that it was at one point, but obviously with that rain, really cost him big time, and that's why we found out that why everyone was on the hard compound tyres, because obviously being on the right tyre at the right time kind of basically wins your races as Nico did today. So yeah, good job, Nico, and yeah, over to you for the interviews, Jamie.
Fireblaze has just messaged me. He is very tired, understandably, of course. So thank you, Fireblaze. Goed gedaan vandaag for Fireblaze. Mega job for him. And unfortunately, we don't get speed to him. So 2 drivers get speed to. And wow, these two heated off a fantastic battle. Hopefully they cooled down on the podium interviews because it was such an intense, heated battle in the wet conditions. As we start with Kaname then. So Kaname, oh mate, you had your win last season in Japan. You got another podium, and you had a long streak of podiums so far this season. I believe this is your 7th podium of the season, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 8th. Let me go check real quick instead of guessing. This is your 6th podium of the season, and you've had a fantastic start towards the season as well. You're leading the championship, but you have no wins. It's like Joe Amir back in 2020 when he won the championship with no wins. Could it be that way? But hopefully you do get a win for your sake. But Kaname, how are you feeling, mate? Mixed emotions with that Grand Prix, because obviously that 3-second penalty was detrimental for your race, and you had a big battle with Nico. How are you feeling for the Grand? How are you feeling after the race?
Bro, great fight from Nico. It was a good race. Qualifying wasn't the best, but put a lot of time to be top 5, and I worked from there. But yeah, no, it was a crazy battle with Nico. That's like one of the best battles I've had. It was pretty intense though, because we were fighting a lot and we were side by side, but nothing really happened though. It was just hard racing, and I loved every second of it. So yeah, GG's to him.
Well, that's very nice to hear from you. That's a very nice approach, because if it was me, I would have been very, very annoyed during the Grand Prix. But that's very nice to hear from you as well. So, how was it out there today? Because obviously you guys had to stretch it hard, a long way than usual because of the inters. Were you guys struggling the hardcore power sides? Did you feel like the grip was going? Was it hard to keep it on the track?
Yeah, I think for the first like 10 laps, I was just behind Rising Star. But first 10 laps I was behind Rising Star, just saving my tires, so that kind of helped. And then I started pushing to get positions, and I was leading the race at one point, and of course that's when the Nico battle started. And yeah, I just saved tires, and they helped a lot. I mean, I think at the end when we pitted, I was on like 50, 56, I think it was. It was around in the 50s, so I did save a lot of tires. But when we put on the inters, I remember. I think it was the second last lap. I was on that tire icon was already like popped up, so and we only did like 7 laps with those tires. So yeah, I was pushing a lot in the final stint with Dinter, that's for sure. because it was crazy.
Yeah, like you said, you were quite passive at the first stint because you were hovering around P5 and drivers around you ahead of you start making mistakes and you were able to capitalize as well, making overtakes. You've had some fantastic overtakes as well. And it started getting heated up in the second stint when it was just you versus Nico. In the first lap, I don't know if you remember, in Deg de War, that's when it got a bit intense because you lost the DRS towards, I think it was your teammate racing the time because in the first Deg, you and Nico were side by side. So you and Nico definitely toughed it out here at the Japanese Grand Prix. But it's nice to see the respect from you as well. And you might be deep down. Are you a bit disappointed not to get the win today?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I should have won, but I might get the penalty removed. That's up to the stewards, but yeah, I definitely should have won, but it was a crazy battle, and I mean, Nico's the only person I would have lost to be honest, because he was as quick as me or quicker. So yeah, GG's to him.
Still searching for your first win since the Japanese Grand Prix like last season. So hopefully you do get that. And you've had some fantastic races, mate. The consistency is what's going to win you championship because at the end of the day, you gain points on Fireblaze, who finished in P3, another good strong result for him. You gain points on Laser and Nordus too, and Jensen because he wasn't here, and Raz's Star. So the consistency is definitely key. Imagine if you do win a championship with no wins, that'd be astronomical indeed.
Yeah, that'll be crazy. I mean, I hope not, but if it comes down to that, I still want it. So
yeah. Yeah, that'd be crazy indeed. But how do you feel then for the Qatar Grand Prix, Kane?
Mixed emotions. Hopefully I'll do good. I'm not sure. I'm not really. It's one of those tracks where it's 50-50 for me. It's really really high deg, really high speed. You can get damaged pretty quickly because it's a interesting race. I don't know. I'm not sure what will happen, but I'm not really confident going into the race, but we'll see. I won't be as quick as in Japan, though, I'll tell you that.
Well, thank you very much, mate. Nice to speak to you as always. It's the Canadian Club podcast this season. But yeah, thank you very much, mate. Been a pleasure to speak to you, and good luck for the next race. Owen, you got any questions for Canadian?
Thank you.
You're on mute, by the way. Well, Owen did say before the stream that he has an Amazon parcel coming, so that could have been now. He did give me a time frame, so we'll put the questions on standby. But we move on to Nico Rassenberg. Nico Rassenberg, the last two times you finished the Grand Prix was on the podium back in Abu Dhabi and Austria. The rest of them, unfortunately for you, were DNSs and DNFs. But finally, Nico, you pieced it all together, and like when things like you've had a really good pace. I've said it back in PSGL when I paced over you, and I've said it here as well. Like on your day, you really do show what you're capable of as well. Like what do you need to do to get it all together? Is it how you approach the races? Is it the race craft? Is it the behavior? I know you're young and you still got a lot to learn. Like what are you changing now from here to the future?
Yeah, normally it's the concentration in the league races because of some guys who crashing me out, and then I'm frustrating and I don't know what I'm doing after that. So in the future I'm learning now to drive simple and smart and not to dive any corner like in PSGL. You can't do it there. Yeah, today the race, I wasn't expecting that I would win this today, because that's my baddest track on this game. My setup was absolutely shit. There was no, I don't know how to say, it was understeery and oversteery at the same time. You can't drive, and the first stint was so bad for me. The guys in front of me can't catch up Turbo. He had a 5-second gap, I think, and I wasn't really expecting that I can win this after that. So I wanted to stay on the arts for the upcoming race, and it was a good strategy with nice battles, one of my best battles on this game, to be honest. And I don't know what to say. I wasn't expecting to win this today, because it's my baddest track, and this holy fucking setup was so shit. It was so old. I think it was from starting the game, like in June or something. Very old. So yeah, my first win.
The setup would definitely be shit then if it's from June a long time ago. But yeah, Nico, you did a fantastic job today as well, mate. Finally get to see the Nico that I know is there, that I know he's capable of doing. And you did a fantastic job in terms of battling as well. Some intense battling as well. Your heart must have been pounding as well towards the last few laps of the Grand Prix because you were the lead, but Kinane was still in your tail as well. So you were on the defending side. And how calm were you towards the last few laps of the Grand Prix?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, in the last laps, my tires was so shit. I think I had 70% or something. And with the setup, you can't drive it. So that is why I'm sliding that lot. I was thinking I'm driving a Tokyo Drift, so
it's 40 Ferrari.
Yeah.
It didn't look like you from my side though, because like it looks like you kept it control. During the wet period, it seems like you got closer and closer to Kinane in the corner. So I thought your setup was good, but like you said, your setup was very bad indeed and not up to date. So despite a old setup, you did a fantastic job. What are you expecting as well for next coming races? What are you hoping for in the Castle Grand Prix? You're not in the championship fight, so I think you just focused on winning the race, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I want to do next race, last two first, to have some fun. Yeah, I think I can do it, like Hazara and Falakongen and stuff like this. I think I can do it, so I wasn't thinking I will do the quali, but I will think about it. So yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I was on high wings today. That is why I was so fast in the corners on the starting of the rain phase. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Nico. Well-driven race today, mate, after a few difficult races back in Brazil as well with that contact down at turn 3. But you're able to recover from that, and you did a mega job to claw your way back onto the field and get that result you finally needed as well. So well done today, mate. Congratulations, and Dankeschön for talking to the podium interviews.
Thank you.
I'll see you next Monday, mate, in PSGR.
Yeah, hopefully.
I will be there. Sorry about not being there on Monday. I really do apologise.
Yeah, all good.
That's it then.
It was a nice race for me. So
I'll have to watch it back because admittedly I haven't, but I need to. But yeah, well done today, Nico. Well done today, Kinane. Fantastic battling. Kept on our toes in the commentary box. And we end off here at the Japanese Grand Prix. We're not done in Japan just yet in real life. The Japanese Grand Prix is this weekend. Of course, we got some big news. Liam Lawson has been replaced by Yuki Tsunoda. And we'll see how Yuki Tsunoda performs. Is it the car or is it the driver or a bit of combination of both? Could be. But I think it's more towards the car side because obviously Perez, Albon, Gasly and Liam Lawson have struggled in that second Red Bull seat. But what can what can Yuki Tsunoda do in the Red Bull at his home Grand Prix in Japan? The last time a driver from Japan had a podium was 2012, was Kazuya Kobayashi. So I don't think Yuki Tsunoda can get that, but hopefully a top 10 finish for him. We'll see you all later then. I'll be round off round 11. It is time for the Qatar Grand Prix next week. Div 4, Charlie Smith will be back for Division 4. Tiger Buka and Simo for Division 3. Me and Simo for Division 2. And me and Owen Mansell for Division 1. All at 7:30 except Division 4. Join us back later. We'll see you all. Goodbye for now. Good night. And enjoy the Japanese Grand Prix this weekend. We'll see you all later. Take care for now.